Good afternoon, everybody. It's a very happy Monday, and I am attorney Danyl Patterson, candidate for the 190th. For those of you who don't know, that's West Philly, baby. So I'm calling everybody in Mill Creek, Dunlap, Haddington, over to Cedar Park, around out to Belmont, and don't forget about West Powelton. We don't talk about them quite a lot. And over to Winfield Heights, East Park Side Association folks. Hey, how you doing? 52nd Street Business Association folks. Hey, how you doing? We're all in this here together. If I forgot about your organization, it's not because I don't recognize the excellence that so many of you doing, especially to keep us calm during this storm. Well, today we've got something really special for you on this very special day. We're out here in a very trying time. We're going to talk about all of it, but we're going to talk about how faith can keep us grounded. So today we have joining us Imam Jamil Muhammad. I'm sorry, Imam Jamil Abdullah. Can you hear me, Imam?
Yes, I hear you
There you
well.
go. Well, so you all can laugh. Me and the Imam, we were out here like Teddy Riley versus Babyface. We couldn't get the sound together today, but we got it. And now you can hear both of us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Imam.
It's my pleasure.
It is so important that we join together across all faith, especially in time like this, because it's all really about the Creator and humanity and how we can work together to get things done, to support each other, to make a plan for our future. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Now, where are you from and associated with there, Imam?
The Philadelphia Masjid / Sister Clara School, 4700 Wallosing Avenue in West Philadelphia, PA.
Okay, so I learned something today. My own mistake was that I call it the Philadelphia Masjid. I didn't know that that's actually Sister Claire Muhammad is the masjid. I always thought that was a school because that's the generation I grew up with.
Well, it is the school. The masjid, we have a musalla, or place of prayer, inside the school. It's always been the Philadelphia Masjid, but it has been a school here since 1976.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. We've at one time we had 500 students here. We've graduated a lot of students that many of them have turned out to be doctors, nurses, engineers, et cetera, and et cetera. So, we've tried to do a wonderful job with educating the children so they can go out and be productive citizens in society.
Well, Sister Clara Muhammad, the school did a fabulous job, and the Philadelphia Masjid does a fabulous job at turning out just unique and sympathetic individuals who really are about supporting the community. I have to really tell you that I have come across so many of your young. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to front like I get the terms right because I don't. Because I'm like, wait a minute, because I don't think that's exactly right.
It's
So.
okay. Say what you
Well,
want to
I
say.
don't, I was gonna stop, and I said no, because the Muslimas,
Right.
and is that
Okay.
right?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm trying to get it. Yes.
Well,
So,
Muslim is for the female. Okay.
oh,
Yeah, the Muslim, the female Muslims, but it's okay. If you just say Muslims or believing Muslims, it's okay.
well,
It's
so
not.
many of the faith. One of the things that I have really recognized, and I guess my initial dealings with the Muslim community, specifically out of the Philadelphia
Yes, ma'am.
Masjid, was about the community-based programs that you have,
Right.
how the outreach that you have, and how significant you have been to all of Philadelphia, but very specifically, you have really impacted West Philadelphia so positively, turning out the mentorship program, making sure that, the conflict resolution program, teaching people how to be advocates for themselves and for their children. It's very impressive.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Would you
We
like to talk about a little bit about that?
yes. Well, I mean, we try our best, or we've always tried our best to be an asset in the community and to implement things in our community that the young generation and the elders can benefit from, so that we can have a community where we can all live together in peace, where we can respect each other, we can love each other, but also we can take back the good, wholesome values that not only, I mean, that we got from our parents and our parents that came before us, to do right by your neighbors, to want to live in a decent neighborhood, to be kind and to be respectful, to be courteous, and just do things that's necessary to help us live a good, productive life, a good, safe life. And that's what we're working on here, Philadelphia Masjid. We're working on trying to really control our neighborhood. Because if you don't control your neighborhood and you allow those on the outside to control your neighborhood, then you'll become more or less like a psychological slave to the situation. So it's imperative that we begin to work together, irregardless of what our religious backgrounds may be, but all of us, whether we're Christians, Muslims, or whatever, in this neighborhood, we have to come together and work collectively together to build a wholesome neighborhood. So one day our children can go out in playgrounds and play, and our elders can sit on the porch like they used to sit on, and we can just have just a loving community, caring for each other and just growing and just creating those things that Almighty God has enjoined upon all of us.
Now, when you talk about the community, something interesting is that you guys are actually in the 190th, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and so and your programs are there. So the school was there in the 190th. You have a congregation. I don't know exactly what the word is for there. You fellowship in the 190th,
Yes,
and your programs are in the 190th, correct?
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Now, let's talk about some of the programs because I think there's something really exciting going on at the masjid that a lot of people don't know about, and I would really want you to tell them about that today.
People don't know that we're in the process now of opening back up our school because it's imperative. Because if we look at the educational institutions in this society, particularly in Philadelphia, they're dumbing down our children. So we think it's imperative that we can open up a school that will represent excellence, that we can put good moral values in our children, that they can come to a school where it's safe. Parents don't have to worry about someone running up in school and snatching their children out. They can know they can go to work and know that their child will be in a safe, loving environment, but also they will get the academics that they need so they can be well-rounded and definitely be productive citizens. And maybe if God wills, they can be self-sufficient and go on to make some tremendous things in this world and help bring back things to their community to benefit the community as well. So inshallah, if God pleases, our school will be open up in September.
Okay.
It's a lot of work that has to be done because, this is a big school. I mean, it's a very big school and it takes a lot of resources. And in many cases, we're doing this here by the gut. The community is the one that's really putting forth the resources, but we need help from the outside communities and all the city officials. We need help so they can give us the resources that we need so we can do the things that we can open up these doors in September or by the end of the year so that we can bring these children here and give them a good quality education. Because
I'm gonna just jump in because again, I just want to keep telling folks. First is that Sister Clara Muhammad will be reopening. That is very important. We got to keep that part. What great you said. We know that the 190th. One of the biggest problems that we have is that we don't have a depth of education for our kids. So one more place where they can get a college education is a fabulous thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Across the board. What ages are you initially going to serve? Is it going to be a couple years or what's the plan?
Right now, it's going to be maybe from preschool to about 6. And then every year we're going to increase grade. We have a couple of people on staff that will be running it. They all have their PhDs in education. And we're bringing also on the weekend a STEM program. We know STEM is the way to go. So we have some dynamite leaders in the field of STEM. They'll be coming on board, matter of fact, their own board to help us to take the school to the next generation.
Well, now they tell me that you got to add it and make it STEAM now. You got to add the arts because something about the way the mind develops or something, it makes it more accessible and susceptible to getting the engineering and math together. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't that person. I was definitely the language arts kind of lady.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and it's so funny because I used to fight about going to the arts class. I thought it was so stupid. Why am I doing this, or going to the music class? And I really think now, honestly, that some of the things that have opened my eyes to be able to see the world bigger than myself. And I think that's one of the things, again, that we're missing out in the 190th. That,
Yes,
you know,
ma'am.
that feeling. I'm gonna just come back to one of the things that you were just talking about. And I see that this has been a theme across educators everywhere, a
Hmm.
loving environment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And people don't say, oh, it doesn't matter, it's just school. You know what? When children feel love, be it going to visit Nana,
Mhm.
going, to the cousin's house where they feel safe and comfortable, it
Yes,
changes their ability to grow and learn. And
absolutely.
if you're talking about a loving environment, that means that that's where people are receptive to the needs that they have, maybe the changes that are going on in their house. That's the reason right now. Look, we've got a whole outpouring of love about class of 2020 with the Adopt a Seniors program.
Mhm.
Why? Because it's important that we've got our young people who are just really entering society can see that we love them, we respect them, we accept them, and we want greatness from them. And that's what I see you guys working for there for the Sister Claire Muhammad School.
Yes, ma'am. And that's always been our motto. Even when the school was first instituted by Sister Claire Muhammad, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his wife, she refused to send her children to, matter of fact, she was one of the first persons that started a homeschooling. She
Mm-hmm.
refused to send her children to the public schools because she said that if you mistreat me, what make you think you're going to treat my babies right? So
That's
she
right. It's all about the babies.
Absolutely. So she began to open up her own a private school, a home study school, and eventually after that, then all of the Sister Claire Muhammad schools began to open up all throughout the country. So we tried to carry that, and we will carry that legacy of making sure that when the young men come in these doors here, uh, you will get disciplined respectfully. You will come in here and be a gentleman, and just like the ladies, the young ladies will be young ladies. They will be respectful. They will say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And we want to make sure that they're safe from the time that they come to our school until their parents come and pick them up. They will get quality education, something
And
they can for the rest of their life.
And we're going to definitely double back to this because you also said something that's important, and that's that you need help. So we're going
Yes,
to come back at the end because we're going to find out how we can help you so
yes,
you can help all of us. That's
yes,
what
ma'am.
we want to know because it's all about doing better together. Yeah,
Absolutely.
in that vein, and so we're going to now go on to economics because at the end we're going to come back to religion, and this is the reason. And I know people are like, you brought the imam on and you really haven't talked about religion yet. And the reason I did not start there is because so often religion is divisive because people don't understand. If we don't worship the same book, then, or we don't read from the same book, people don't understand that we all have the same basic principles of love. That's really what it is.
Right.
And so, in a faith and commitment to humanity. So I want to
Mhm.
kind of talk about you all,
Right.
right? So we talked about the school. I'd like to talk about economics. Then I'd
Okay.
like to talk about some of the things in the community, but then I really want to talk about you and
Yes.
what brought you to Allah, and how you got started on your path there at the masjid. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
mean, I want people to know it's an evolution of thought. There's an enlightenment period that goes on with people.
Yes, ma'am. Hmm.
Okay.
Well,
So, Sister Claire Muhammad has also, over there at the masjid, you guys have been at the forefront with some community economics training, some
yes.
vocational training, getting
Hmm.
your folks into various unions to make sure that they had hands-on education, as to put them in the workforce. And even you guys have really been leading the fight with returning citizens to make sure that they are on the forefront and have been returned to full citizenship. So I
Yes.
really like to talk about that because, a lot of times people don't understand anything else, but they understand money. And it's
Right.
real sad. And I know you see this right now, the confusion up there in Harrisburg, where they having, the Trump rallies. I can't even call it nothing else. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm running for office, so I can only call it the Trump rally, where
Right.
we out here making America great again. And I don't know if you guys know, you saw Kentucky just came out with their new numbers for COVID-19.
Right.
They tripled their infection rate. So last Wednesday they were rallying, and today their infection rate has been tripled.
Right. I agree. And
Exactly.
oh,
So let's
and
talk about economics
yeah,
and how things you've been doing, and again how the community can get involved, and because again when the masjid and the school grows, we all grow. So how can we work together? So first, I just want to talk about what you guys have already been doing.
yes. Well, what we've already been doing, particularly here in this building here, we're redoing. We already have redone the first floor. We're working on the second floor and the third floor. But as I said, and what you said, it takes resources, and
Mhm.
we're looking for the community to, if possible, to just lend their support, whether it's financial resources or just their labor, because what we're willing and what we will give back into the community is far more than what they can give us in dollars and cents. We have a lot of programs going on here. We have youth mentoring program. We have the Jawala Scouts. We have the conflict resolution. We have a group of young men last summer who came. They were all licensed HVAC. They were plumbers. They were electricians. And we had about 300 children here. And they were teaching them those skills free of charge.
Oh,
We,
wow.
I mean, and they're still doing it here. So we have also, when it comes to the prisons, we're in constant contact with some of the inmates. So when they come back to Philadelphia, they can come here and we can lead them in the direction that hopefully they will be able to get themselves together, so they won't have to go back into the penal institution. But you made a statement about making America great. She will never be great until she changes her ways.
It's exactly right, and
Just
recognizes every person living on her soil.
That's right, because until she changes her immoral ways, she'll never be great. On the outside, she looks beautiful, but on the inside, it's a whole nother ball game. So we have to take those good, wholesome values, keep those good, wholesome values that our foreparents put in us. I mean, because they were such great, wonderful people, and they had good morals and they had good values. They didn't have the resources that we had externally, but internally they did. And that's what enabled them to continuously go forward, irregardless of the things that they were faced with in the society. So we have a lot of things going on. Our doors is always open for other ideas. And, we're a community hub. We have all kinds of political meetings here. We have social gatherings here. The communities want to meet and have whatever concerns they may have in the neighborhoods. They can come here and we will open the doors for them. And whatever we can do to be a vanguard, then we'll do that. We speak out against the injustices that we see taking place in society. So we're just asking for, irregardless of what your religious persuasions may be, our doors is open. I think it's time for us to put what we consider a so-called structured religion. In Islam, we don't say religion. In Islam, we say it's just a way of life.
Okay.
So my life is wanting to do good by you because that's what God calls me to do. And your life should be wanting to do good by me because that's what Almighty God charges you to do as well. And I think if we put aside a lot of the rituals and just really begin to see that what I want in the community to live a decent life and my children to grow up to be decent human beings, I believe you want the same thing for your children too. So we all in this thing together. I mean, I'm no better than you and you're no better than me. We have to do it together collectively as a team and as a unit. I think if we do that, we can create some beautiful things in our neighborhood. And this school here can be a school not just for the Muslims. It's not just for the Muslims. I want to make that clear. This school here is for the community
Well,
and babies.
I'm glad that you said that that last piece again, we're going to work backwards, is because people so often think, well, it's a Muslim school, so it's not for men, or it's a Catholic school and it's not for men, or it's a Christian school and it's not for men. Again, this is why I want to say what unites us is so much stronger than what divides us. When it comes down to it, the values and the morals are there really across all religions, whatever your faith is. And that's what
Absolutely.
I want to move to, that idea of faith, because
Yes.
no matter what, your faith will, is what binds that moral code and brings you forth. It's what it's what makes you want to be a better person in society. You
Yes.
have faith. Just now,
Mm-hmm.
every
I,
day. And I don't know if you're feeling the same way. And I want you to know you got quite a bit of commentary going over here. Everybody's saying hi to you. You can't see that. So hi Teresa, how you doing? Sharon Border Pearson is thanking you for keeping her in the loop. Good afternoon, Perry Monasterio. Zahira Ahmad is the one who actually explained to me that the masjid is actually the school are the same thing. They're actually both Sister Claire Muhammad. We've got the DKOD family that are online. Yeah, you've got quite a commentary going over there, and I just wanted you to know that they were there. You won't see it till actually it's over. I'm looking right at them. But that
right.
concept of faith,
And you
and
know, one thing about the Philadelphia Masjid, and we call it the historical Philadelphia Masjid, because
yes,
it is the largest African American masjid here in Philadelphia, maybe on the East Coast, and is the mother masjid because all of the other massages, which is plural for masjid that you may see, the majority of them came out of here. This is the
I
mother
didn't know
masjid.
that. And I
Yeah,
read, so I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. So, I always research before I get started with anybody. And
mhm.
so I learned a big history about the Philadelphia Masjid
Yes, ma'am.
and the significance that it had coming out of the civil rights movement.
Absolutely.
And the impact that it had in shaping some of society with putting our young men to work in different areas, outside of just being in the community. Because
Right.
now remember, 40 years ago, people were in their community. That's all they went. They didn't go across the street, and they sure wasn't going to New York or DC to go spread anybody's word. You kind of right where you were. So that kind of idea of that bigger global picture and that bigger global impact, I'm gonna really tell you that they have a long-standing history there at the Philadelphia Masjid, and I'm glad to see that you all are continuing that
And,
work.
and what you were saying, and as you know, just to echo that, what I mean by a lot of the different messages you see, a lot of the members of different messages came out of the Philadelphia Masjid. Philadelphia Masjid is the mother,
Mhm.
home. And you got to come back and take care of mom's house. And if you don't take care of
Always.
mom's house, you're in trouble. We go off, and we begin to establish our own thing, but you can't forget mama's house. You can't forget where it all started, and we have to put aside our little small idiosyncrasies and begin to come back home and build and open up the school because it is a monumental institution, and our children are suffering. Our babies are suffering, and we want to make sure that our children are getting quality education, but they're in a safe environment because I can assure you this, when they come to the Philadelphia Masjid for school, to go to school, they're going to be safe from the time their mother or father lets them off until the time that their parents pick them up. And you spoke earlier about my transition. I mean, I came from a loving, and I'll say it with emphasis, I came from a loving Christian home. My mother was a fabulous woman, good Christian woman, good morals, kind and respectful. So a lot of those things that's in me is because of my mother, because
Fabulous.
who she was as a woman, and she was a person, a God-fearing person. When I became 17 years old, I came into the Nation of Islam. I heard the minister at that time speaking, and I knew that my soul was yearning for that. When he was speaking about loving your brothers and doing right by your brothers and don't lie to your brother, don't steal from your brother, things like that. That's always been a part of me, and I took that to heart because I never wanted to do anything that would hurt my fellow man, even today, and so I became a Muslim at 17 years old, and praise be to Almighty God, which means the Muslim is only one who submits, one who surrenders, and I never look back. I never look back. And I was fortunate enough that all my friends around me, they were doing what they were doing, but I chose to go another path because I had gotten married at a very early age when I was 17, 18 years old
Oh,
to my
wow.
children. And I was married to her for 28 years because I knew that I had an opportunity. I can go in the direction that my friends were going, or I seen them babies in the crib. What was more important than me? So I said, I'd rather sacrifice and take care of them babies that's in the crib, because for one thing I never wanted to do is to not let my children know who their father was and not be in their life. So I just never looked back. So I had an opportunity. I went to college. Almighty God has blessed me to have 4 college degrees, you know, and because education was always something very important in my home. But me becoming a Muslim just allowed me an opportunity to really see me and understand me, to really see my purpose in life, that one, I'm living only for the pleasure of Almighty God, whatever I can do to be of service, to help uplift the human family, that's what I'm about. Real simple.
I mean, that's kind of an amazing story. So it is. And it's an amazing story because you recognize something in yourself at a young age.
Yes, ma'am.
Many people don't, meaning, they kind of struggle not just with faith, but with their identity of self.
Mhm.
And you told us that those values that your mom gave you helped shape that identity itself. So when you
That's,
made your commitment to Allah, you were
that's
really able to stick with that, and the supports around you,
mhm.
recognizing that the babies in the crib were so much more important than you.
Right. Absolutely.
That idea of sacrifice.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I never looked back, and I was blessed to have an opportunity to learn the language, and because I was always one that I wanted to know. I mean, I wanted to be able to read the Quran, but
Hmm.
also read it in the language that it was revealed in and understand it. So,
Do they still teach that at the Philadelphia Masjid, or was that a part of Sister Clara Muhammad?
well, see, Philadelphia Masjid and Claire Muhammad, it's all one. It's just the name is the masjid is the Philadelphia Masjid. The school is Claire Muhammad School.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So in the masjid, because
Yeah,
the school hasn't been for a while, just a short while.
well, yes, Philadelphia Masjid, we teach. Matter of fact, we have Arabic. We have all kinds of Islamic classes. I teach Arabic. Imam Nordin, he teaches advanced grammar. So we teach so many different classes on Islam here. Then we have a wonderful brother who has joined on to help us, who was who lived in Medina for 20 years, and he was probably the first African American, or the only, that was able to teach in the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon his mosque in Medina. He
Oh
comes.
wow. Yeah, wow.
He has a PhD. He works with us and he helps us as well. So, we're doing a lot of good things, and our doors is open
How
so
do they
that,
reach you?
beg your pardon.
How do they reach you? Of course they can come in. Then don't forget, what's the address again?
How do they reach us? Listen, Philadelphia Masjid, and you have philadelphiamasjid.org. You can reach us there. Our telephone number is 215-877-2800.
Wait a minute, you're going too fast for me. Wait a minute, I'm trying to put it up here so they can find it. 2800. Okay.
215-877-2800 is the telephone number. The address is 4700 Walusing Avenue. If they want to make any financial contributions for the school, they can make it and go on that website, and we have PayPal, we have Cash App. They can make it.
Okay,
Donate.
slow down. It's the Philadelphia Masjid. And now you're thinking I can spell MASJID, right?
It's just philamasjid.org.
Wait a minute, Phila, MASJID, right?
Yes, ma'am.
.org, right?
Right.
Okay, just making sure I got it. So
Yes.
there you go. So that's very important. So if you want to reach Imam for women, I want to call you son's name. Imam Jamil.
Right.
If you want to reach Imam Jamil over at the Philadelphia Masjid, you can give him a call at 215-877-2800. You guys can always stop by. They are always open. The doors are always open to the masjid. Every time I've ever had to go by there for anything, the doors have been open. There's been somebody there. As a matter of fact, today, when I want you guys to know, because everybody doesn't know, we've partnered We've been reaching out to vendors in our community and caterers in our community and restaurants in our community that don't have capacity, and they don't have the connection with the community, but they have a passion, and their people have wanted to send donations and provide food. And we actually are doing food delivery services out into the community. So if you know someone in need, now there are two different types. Now note this, please get it out there. Two different types. We've got food boxes. They're care boxes of staples deliveries. So meaning there's going to be some egg and some cereal and some milk and some bread and some pasta.
Wow.
You can make a meal. But
Wow.
one of the things that, as we've been calling out to people and people have been calling us, is that the food insecurity is not just that. We've got a lot of elderly folk people. We've got a lot of sick people. Don't forget, we got a lot of sick people in our community right now, and they can't make a meal for themselves.
Yes.
So we've got some restaurants that are putting together bento boxes to feed you for 5 to 7 days, a couple of meals. You need to identify how many folks are in your household that we can provide the service for. And our number is 267-291-4702. That's 267-291-4702. Please reach out to us. We're going to be doing this at least 3 times each week that we know of already. Folks are still contacting us, restaurants and vendors, but so much so, and it doesn't have to just be for you. If you know somebody else, please send us an inbox here. You have the comments on Facebook Live. There's no reason that you need to out anybody. This is not a time where we need to be prideful. We are really here for humanity and one another. Shoot an inbox to the campaign. Shoot an inbox to me, Danyl Patterson, personally. We respond constantly. Leave a phone number, and we need an address and who the contact person is, because we're doing this socially distant correct. That means that we drive up, we call the person, we let them know we're going to put it on the step. Then we're going to go get back in the car and call you again. Make sure you get it, and then we're going to leave. So this is not time to touch. This is not time, none of that. This is really from our hearts to your home. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help and make sure folks are getting it. And so, when I said, hey, Imam Jamil, we've got some food and some folks and people, we didn't even have people lined up. And he said, hey, we're here. And you know what? They were there. So there's some food boxes. Is going to make sure that he identifies some folks in the community. Please don't forget that we really are here. We really want your input. We want to help. We do. We want to help. So we're going to say, Mom.
And what I'm saying, we also have a site here. You can use our place as well. We have a first-class kitchen downstairs.
Well, that's actually a great thing, Imam Jamil, because we've got another church as well that's going to do some food storage for us. But we have them on 2 ends of the district. That means that many more people that can be served. So that's fabulous. I'm going to actually talk with you. Perry Monastero, you see that? We got another set of kitchens to use, because that's always the problem is, it's got to be stored properly, especially for the food that's prepared. It's very perishable, because we know we've got, and that's really been a problem. People reached out to me. They said, oh, well, they didn't know how to do food delivery. They were trying to call the fresh grocer. They were trying to call Sunshine Food Market. Well, what happened? The fresh grocer stopped delivering. The window is almost 2 weeks out. The Sunshine Market said you got to have a $75 food order. Most of these folks are not trying to order that much food. Thank you. It's 267-291-4802. 267-291-4802. I'm sorry. You know what? I always get a number that's directly to me. I'm sorry. Thank you, Lesson. And that was the problem. People were saying, hey, I can't get in the window. The window is too short or too far out, especially when it got to be the first of the month. And people were starting to get, they were starting to get their disability checks or the Social Security checks. They were starting to get their food stamps. And all of a sudden the system was slammed. And our people didn't know what to do. The hacks are gone. And come on now, y'all know grandma gets a hack back from the fresh grocer. And that, the hacks were gone. The ShopRite won't let you be in the parking lot. And that's all for our safety. But that means that there are some people that are actually left out in the cold. And we got to do something for them. So if you know someone, please call us. Call the Imam. You have the number to the masjid, 215-877.
2800.
2800, 215-877-2800. Give us a call at the campaign, 267-291-4802, 267-291-4802. Reach out to us on inbox. Reach out to me on inbox. We're here to help you. And you know what? The best thing that we do as a community is this. When we don't know, y'all know if nothing else, I done found you resources, somebody that does know. We done brought you doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, accountants, CPAs, the tax experts, the unemployment experts, the social workers, domestic abuse workers, the mental health workers. We can find somebody that can help you, okay? We can find somebody. The network is big. Thank you, Emmanuel. Yes, that's right. Professionals for progress. You know what? Matter of fact, on my page today, that's the other thing. Our friends over at NJ Construction Company. Now I know it's a little bit counterintuitive. The folks at NJ Construction Company are donating fire sticks to our communities. Why? Because Wi-Fi is free right now because of Comcast and Verizon. They're offering that too. You can pull down those hotspots. You're sitting at home and you're bored. It ain't just for the kids to use they tablets. It's also so that we can, give those kids some entertainment, so we can do something to stay in the house. So reach out to my friends at NJ Construction, Neil Johnson. You are fabulous, fabulous. It was a great idea they're very unique. And we've really got to do better. And you want to know why we got to do better? Because in times like these, bad people take advantage of us. Let me tell you about this. I'm gonna be on my soapbox for a minute. Y'all ready for my soapbox? Because I was some kind of perturbed this weekend. So we were out and we were on 52nd Street and going through picking up some food. I was dropping off food around Sampson Street, a couple of delivery boxes on that little, what is that? So that between 52nd and 53rd and Sampson, that little block. And they were gathered outside of the Poppy store on what was that? 50. So that's also 53rd, but that's right before Spruce. And they were fussing and fussing because at the Poppy store, they charge them $4 for a mask. They won't let you come into the Poppy store unless you have a mask, but they will come outside and for $4, they will sell you a mask so that you can come in and buy a dollar hoagie. So meanwhile, I still can't get masks. I've been trying to find something to be able to give them out to the community. So, but they done found them and they're storing them and they're selling them back to us at ridiculous markups. This mask don't cost $4, even though it's liquid gold right now. But this is what I mean when I say people will find a way. They will find a way to make sure that they exploit us. And that's not walking in faith, Imam. That right there is where humanity is not doing what they're supposed to. So, I want to really not just want to talk about that. Mm-hmm. We're in a time when we need to band together the most.
Yes.
We're in a time when we need to be praying for our brothers and sisters, and we need to be supporting.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And how do we do that? How do we? It's like I don't even know how. I don't know how we get there.
Well, I mean, it's real simple. I think we need to go back to how our foreparents and how our parents were. We have become so selfish and so greedy, and just me, and we don't care. I mean, it's gotten to the point where when we were growing up, we knew our neighbors. We were able to have good relationships with our neighbors. Nowadays, neighbors don't know each other. They don't talk to each other. They don't care about each other. And we have become so ignorant in our disposition and our values. We have no values. As the Quran says, when the human being loses its humanity, then all havoc breaks loose. And we can see a society because we see it all around us. We have to come back to our own natural, in Arabic it's called the fitra, meaning that your natural inclination to do and be and live a life that's right, that's pleasing before Almighty God, and not trying to be seen by man and wanting the accolades of man, but just living your life in a manner that is pleasing to the one that has given you life, because all of us are going to die, and we're going to leave this earth, and the reality of our life will be manifested to us when that angel of death comes for us, and we're lying in that grave by ourselves, when there's nobody that can help you then. So it should behoove us to make sure that we're walking in faith we're walking in righteousness. We're walking in a manner that is pleasing to Almighty God, because what we're going through now with this corona, and the corona is just one virus that has been existing. It has come after many other viruses that's been existing before, but it should encourage us and inspire us now that we got to start doing for self. We have to really start looking in our community and beginning to see that we don't have anything in our communities anymore that we can take ownership. We have to start building and producing in our own neighborhoods, so that when we spend our money, our dollars can be circulated in our community 7 times, because we know that once we get money, and when the stimulus checks come, that money is going to be going so fast, but it's not going to benefit our own neighborhoods.
Well, I mean, Imam, they distributed checks last week. The stores in our neighborhood are already closed.
Oh, I know.
Honestly, where our dollars circulate are not open. So the barbershops and the beauty salons are not open. Our little, quickie mart, like kind of convenience stores are not open. And I'm not mad about it, because again, as I was riding through the neighborhood, I really, I was kind of talking to somebody else on the phone. They were talking about, their community is entirely different. And I said, unfortunately, when you have people who are living close together, when resources are limited, what happened? It's the stores that were open, people weren't just going into the store and coming out. The folks were hanging out outside the store. It would make somebody else not want to go in. I mean, I've really been making sure, because I'm so worried about infecting a senior. I just don't want to be anybody's patient zero.
1,000%.
That's my fear, that I'm going to be some seniors patient zero, because I'll get it, I'll get sick, I'm gonna get well, but I'm just so afraid that I'm gonna get one of those immunocompromised folks, and I wouldn't be able to live with myself. So let me stay back. And they're out there, and it's like, okay, I know. And I try not to get too frustrated. I try to lead by example, but I also know that some of those, especially those kids, they're outside because the homes are not safe. You're talking about Sister Claire Muhammad in a safe, loving environment. These kids are not safe and loved. They're not.
I definitely agree. That's why I think we need you as a state rep. Because you are, from what I've seen and noticed from you, you're a woman of great integrity. Not only are you a woman of great integrity, you're honorable, and we need people like you that will represent our interests. That's why I support you. And that's why I have, great respect for you. I have no problems with following your lead in those areas, because you're brilliant. You're brilliant, and you're a phenomenal sister. And I would think that and say that all people in this area here should really get behind you and support you, because you're decent, you're kind, and you're warm, but your heart is clean. And that's what makes you and separates you from the pack of wolves that you see out there. Your heart is clean, and that's just a reflection from the environment that you come from. You come from good stock, so I'm with you 1,000%, and I'll make it known before anybody that I stand with you, I stand beside you, I'll walk with you, because, you're my kind of sister, man, that I believe in. And I believe that you're going to do the right thing, because first, your faith and your love for Almighty God and your love for the human family. So I stand with you 1,000%.
You know what, Imam, I appreciate that, and I receive it. And probably there's a part of me that needs it. We were just talking about faith, and I'm, just going to be honest, is that, faith is blind. I have faith in my fellow humanity. But sometimes, at 2:00 in the morning, again, we talked about this before, this stuff is keeping you up at night. Right. You wonder, am I doing the right thing? Am I making an impact? Am I helping enough? Because again, I'm afraid for my brothers and sisters. I'm afraid for us out here. So I needed that a little bit. I thank you for those words. And this is what I mean about, that brotherhood of faith, because I called the Imam about something else entirely. A couple weeks ago, he didn't even know I was struggling with something. See, you didn't know, because I didn't really tell you about it. And it was a conversation really about just something, our conversation, and we kind of started talking about something else. But when you have respect for the moral code of someone, when you believe that their heart is pure and open, you can accept criticisms, support, kindness, and correction from anyone. And
Yes,
when we
ma'am.
get to the point that we can't do that, that means our ego is in the way. And that all
Absolutely.
this is going on right now in our community, in our world, our biggest problem is that we have been on tilt for so long that all of the foolishness, and I'm gonna call it what it is, the foolishness seems like it's normal. I mean, it does. It just seems normal. We're starting to
Mhm.
accept it. It's like, oh, so they having another Klan rally up there in Harrisburg? Okay. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, I guess that's what we do now.
Right.
It's just, we're becoming desensitized. It's like,
Mhm.
black men getting beat or killed by police officers. It's like, oh, well, that's what happens. We can't become so jaded and so accepting and so hopeless and
Yes.
without faith in humanity and one another that we don't believe that we can do better together.
Well, state rep, and I call you state rep. Um, state, you got to stay strong because we need you out there. We need you because we're right there with you. And believe me, when you're out there doing what you need to do for the community and for the people and what's right, I'm right by your side. Believe me, I'm right by your side. And we need you. And just keep doing what you're doing. Keep trusting in Almighty God. Know that you're not alone. Whenever you do what's right and you stand up for what's right, sometimes it seems like the whole world is against you, but the angels is always there with you. Always.
Well, I thank you so much for that, Imam. Hopefully some folks are going to know in the community that the Philadelphia Masjid is there for all of us, that they
Yes,
will
ma'am.
reach out to you for
Absolutely.
support and guidance, like I do. And also that they'll reach out to you and lend, their time and their dime. You said something very, very significant when you said, hey, we basically had, HVAC training skills. Well, you know
Mhm.
what? One that we're gonna need a whole bunch of in about 2 weeks. We're gonna need a whole bunch of those individuals, those kind of skills, because
That's
the
right.
building boom, they're going to be behind, which means that they're going to be building fast and hard for a very long time. We've got some
Right.
time, some ground to make up, and
Yes,
we've
ma'am.
got to, the other thing is that I told you kind of my parents' story. We talked about our mom and the things that she was able to do to grow her school,
Hmm.
the Head Start Learning Tree. But also, one of the things is this: people don't realize this. When we're looking for federal and state funding, especially, not so much city, but somewhat, but more so when we're starting to look for federal and state funding, which is where you're going to find your funding there for the Sister Clara Muhammad School, the majority of it, is
Hmm.
that there's a requirement that the community is involved, that you have a give back. So, like,
Yes.
for every dollar raised, you have to have 10 cents of what we call in kind. And that
Hmm.
doesn't have to be money. That can be time. The folks who are willing to come and hammer a nail or screw a screw. The folks who are willing to come teach Arabic, because I know you're going to have some bilingual kids at your school. You're going to be teaching them the ways of the world.
Yes,
Those are
ma'am.
continue to support the community that is Sister Clara Muhammad School and the Philadelphia Masjid. And with
Yes, ma'am.
all of that, I'm going to say again, thank you, Imam Jamil, so much for coming on. Thank you for your kind words and your support. We're going to make sure that I keep pushing so that I can become the next state rep of the 190th on June 2nd. That's right, June 2nd,
You're
because the election
gonna,
has been pushed back.
you're gonna become that.
Thank
And
you.
I'm
Thank you.
right there with you. Yes, I'm right there with you every step
And
of the
just
way.
reminding everybody that we will do better together. Thank you, Imam.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. And you have a wonderful afternoon. Okay.
You too.